How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AngelsBobs Plus in Factorio modded on our series, episode 10. Hope you guys have had a good week so far. If you guys haven't already noticed, the Friday episodes are going to be an hour long instead of the normal 30 minutes. Kind of let me know how you guys feel about that. My idea slash mentality behind the reason the Friday episode should be an hour long instead of the regular 30 minutes is because I don't upload on the weekends, and so that way it kind of gives you guys a little bit of extra content to kind of satiate you guys over the weekend. Also, you know, you could either binge it all on Friday or save some for Saturday, or however you guys watch your videos and things. But yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments though how the hour long format is going for you guys on Fridays. If enough of you guys feel like it's too long or whatever, maybe we'll scale it back to 30 minutes. But with that, let's go ahead and continue what we were doing. In the last episode, we got the start to belts going. Well, infrastructure, I guess, being automated, at least some of it. So we kind of talked about how gears are made on the bus. Well, they're made elsewhere, kind of up in the top left area, over by our iron, and they get bussed down, or belted down, rather. So this is a temporary, very, very temporary setup. And for now, we're only going to really get the belts being made. Eventually, we will get the splitters and the underground being made. But right now, we'll just be handcrafting those for the most part. But we do need to go ahead and get more yellow underground. Oh, we already actually have some. Perfect, perfect. So let's go ahead and pull a line of iron. Just so that way we have it up here. We're going to have to definitely get some more of this made and automated, but that's fine. That's kind of what we're doing right now. So let's go ahead and get a splitter. We're going ahead and continuing research of things. Let's go ahead and pull like so. Like so. Oh, power pull is in the way, so I should do that. Once we get the medium power pulls, it shouldn't be too bad. Alright, so now gears will be made. So this should work just fine. Alright. We'll probably need to upgrade that to fast inserters and things, but again, these gear machines are not going to stay here. They are very, very temporary. And then wood, technically we could belt wood over, but for now, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so with that being made, let's go ahead and see what do we need to get green science. Now I know we talked about it doesn't need tins. We don't have to worry about getting tin figured out just yet. So we need belt, which we're already making. So we know we can do that. Looks like we need inserters. To make inserters, we just need... Okay, cool, so just iron. So we might actually be able to use a green science. Do I have green packs? Doesn't look like I have one in that. Some of these are labeled, not all of them. Stuff near the bottom is from when I was doing a vanilla game. Modded things. Again, nothing of my modded blueprints are named, unfortunately. I will try to do that as we go along. Just because some of these are definitely more relevant. So see, for instance, this one. This is actually the blueprint that I wanted for over here. Because notice how much smaller it is compared to this other blueprint. It actually looks really cool on the map, quite honestly. It almost looks like a spaceship or something. The copper one actually looks like a helmet, almost. Kind of like a warrior. Actually kind of like cool. The top ones almost look like pod racers. And then these ones look like helmets, you know, kind of like faces. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and replace these at some point. Luckily, we have nothing down here that's being spaced out. Good to know that that blueprint does exist. So I do want to make sure... Where was it? I believe it was... Yeah, so see, some of these blueprints are going to be useful for us. And these are from previous campaigns I've done. So the reason those recipes are crossed out is because we haven't researched them yet. But they should exist. For the most part, this blueprint should work for us. I will double check the ratios of things just to make sure. But overall, it should still work just fine. So I will go ahead and make a copy of that just so it sits in our inventory. And then, where's the one yeah, this guy, we'll just go ahead and throw in there. We do have a lot of blueprints. Some of them, like this one, we don't really need. And we'll go through and try to clean them out. Maybe we'll spend, I'll actually probably spend a day or two going through all the blueprints. because there are quite a few. Like these books are, well, that one for instance isn't full, but this one has quite a few that some of them are useful, some of them are not. But yeah, we're not here for the blueprints. We're here to continue our stuff. So let's go ahead and, so let's see, where's the lowest point? So these assemblers are the correct ones that we want to build off of. So there. I want to build ghost images. Okay. So to make green science, we need inserters and belt, right? So for belt, let's go like that. And then you need gears. Right? And then to make you also need gears. So let's go ahead something like you. So let's go like that. Let's change you into gears. You into gears. And then, ironically, we don't have any inserters. So let's go ahead and get some. So it looks like for the most part, what we're going to need is iron. Gears are going to be made locally, and circuit boards. So we should be able to fit everything on one belt. And then from here, we can go like that. Go like that, and we don't need to go all the way down, but let's go something like that. I believe it's a 6 to 8, so 4 is 8, and then from there, that should be green sides. I say should be, it doesn't necessarily mean it will be, right? Now we'll go up. We ran out of belt, but that is fine because now we have it automated, which is great. So let's go ahead like that. We are still waiting. Oh, it looks like all the inserters are actually crafted. I'm gonna say, looks like we're still waiting on those, but we're not. Go like that, like that, like that. And these two will share a belt. It should be fine for now. I don't ever see an instance where we're gonna need more, but if we do have room to play with. That's kind of part of the reason we space everything out by 3 assemblers or 9 tiles, so that way there's plenty of room between each of the builds. So if for whatever reason one build needs to use up a little bit more space, it can. It most often does. It's just so that way we can make sure that everything's getting a healthy amount of kind of pre-planned space. Kind of like over here, you can see we have room to both sides of this, so that way we can route things in and out, because until we get robots to do a lot of the routing, it's going to be easier for us to just belt things in, because we probably won't have robots for a little bit. So we need iron in basic electronic circuits. So we are going to need some more underground. So in order to get more underground, it looks like we just need more tin. Hopefully the tin in the north we've been building, or well, smelting, has built up enough for us to be able to use effectively. Hopefully it's not just like a few pieces. Hopefully it's, I'm not going to say a stack, but hopefully it's more than what we've previously gotten. So let's go ahead and head up there. Let's go ahead and make sure. A couple things are out of fuel, but that's fine. Copper, we don't really need to worry about the setup. We could actually tear this down, quite honestly. And you know what? We actually will, because oh, I don't know why it emptied a bunch onto the ground like that. Yeah, that is bizarre. Because we have inventory space. If anybody knows why it spits stuff out on the ground like that, let me know. Let's go ahead and yeah, just chuck that in there for now. That's fine. And then that's fine. I didn't want to smelt that, but that's, again, I guess it's fine. We'll just collect its output, collect furnace, and go grab tin. 10. Alright. So now it actually looks like, oh, we actually need some of that stone that we got rid of. Oh no. Well, that's fine. Let's go like so, just grab 2 stacks so we have it on us, and go ahead and make 22. The reason we just want to make all that we have is, well, quite honestly, we're going to use it, so let's just go ahead and make it now. Because I know we're going to continue to get more, so I'm not worried about running out. Circuits are fine for now. We'll expand it later. As demand increases, we'll upgrade things, right? So we need to get iron and circuits. I usually just do the first thing. Oh, here's another power pole we need to move. So what I'll usually do is I'll just do the first available one. Now let's go ahead and get some splitters. And we do need to just pull some of the belt through. Let's go ahead and just use our nanobots to go ahead and clean up some of these trees. I know we do have wood automated, but it doesn't hurt to get some extra wood just on us. But I will go ahead and just do, for now, we're going to termite bot some of this. Because I don't need all of the trees. Because like I said, we have some of it automated. So I'm not too worried about not having enough, but definitely being careful to make sure that we don't get rid of all the trees in the event for whatever reason we need some. Plus it also helps with pollution. Not that I've seen any biters, but I honestly think I've just disabled them somehow, but I'm pretty sure I turned them on. I will have to go back and look though. But luckily I don't think they will hinder our ability to launch a rocket in any way. By not having them enabled, I do remember in the old days when that was a problem. That was quite problematic. But I don't think we're going to be limited by it at all. I know once we launch to do space things, that could become a problem, but I don't believe making any of the science packs are going to be at all problematic for us. Because I don't think any of those were changed. So, we should be good. And of course, if it is, we'll figure out a workaround, whether it's through modded means or through file editing. But I am not concerned, so we'll be all good. So let's go ahead and grab... Well, again, we're still just waiting on some of this stuff to craft. But once it is, this should work. But I do want to make sure that this is connected with the power pole down here, because up here, eventually, these miners will be picked up. And they will no longer have power poles up here. Oh, you know what? It looks like wood is not being sent down. Let's go actually investigate why. See, this is a scenario that I was talking about in a previous episode of I'll have something set up, think it works, and then in all reality something isn't set up correctly and isn't working. So let's go figure out why this system is not working correctly. So the system should be able to get enough wood. Just go ahead and put some in there now. Obviously, these are going to be a little bit slow. I'm not going to wait here for this system to finish, but I want to see to make sure that the saplings are going all the way, or the seedlings rather, are going all the way around and having their chance to head here. We might have to set something up so that way wood passes into this first, and then if this is full, it goes further down and then into this machine. Well, oh, you know what it is? The reason the system isn't working is because this needs wood, and that's saplings that go in there. That's why that system's not working. So let's actually go ahead and fix that. See, this is where I done goofed. But that's fine, we'll just do something like that. It's again, this isn't a permanent setup. Eventually we'll do a not much nicer, much larger thing, but like I've said before, getting something to work for now is better than not having anything working at all. It's a lot like software development. You just want to get it working, and you go back and fix it, but in all reality, most things become permanent that you say are temporary. Luckily in Factorio, though, a lot of things that you say are temporary end up having... You end up having to fix it, usually. Just... You wait until you absolutely have to fix it, really. This is always the fun kind of, I guess, argument for it, right? It's you wait until the last possible moment to have to, like, fix something in this game. Until you really have to, whether it's scaling production of something or just purely... Yeah, I mean, really, that's about it. So we don't need anything fancy, per se, for these underground, right? Or, well, routing the green science over. We just need the ability to get them over here. And in this case, these are going to work just fine because most of these lanes are just one. And speed is also not something we need to worry about at all. So that's why we do have this, though. So we're going to go ahead and... Oh, well, it's all... No, it's not all powered. So this is a scenario where we have to figure out how we're going to power it. So we do that. Then we're going to have something like this, which, quite honestly, it's fine. It's temporary. I say it again, like I just said. I say it's temporary, but it will probably live here for quite some time, at least until we get gears being made, but that's not going to be until we get green science. And although we are getting green science made now, it doesn't guarantee. And there's still, see, there's still an inserter that can't be powered. So, what do? We figure out, we say, okay, well then that's not going to work. Or, we also look at the solution that's going to give us the fewest number of underground, which happens to be that, and that works just fine. Because look, now we only use 2 underground, where we were using a lot more. Now, because nothing else is going to be on this belt, green can go just straight up here and go onto its half of the belt. And now everything works. We could, in theory, have this feed into a chest, kind of as a buffer chest to pick up inserters and things, but we'll build inserters further down on the bus. It's not really something I'm going to do right now. But I have done it before. I have boxed belt and inserters off of the green science setup. It does tend to run into an issue of not, if I put the buffer like right here where it's being made or down here where there's room, which I have done, it starves the science. Or it's a scenario where it's like, oh, it filled the buffer, then do science, which, you know, I've justified with, okay, well, I want to make sure I can expand the factory before I continue researching. But I've also done it at the other end as well. But I think for this playthrough, we'll do a dedicated, like, other infrastructure of sorts section. Putting infrastructure things like the belt kind of in between important builds, whether it's because you need space or you have weird scenarios where you have, like, an ore patch on your bus. Some people might just build over this. I don't. Not that I'm going to say it's wasteful, but it's here. I'm going to use it, right? So that's why I figured, okay, well, this is a perfect fit. I'm not going to be expanding it just yet. By the time I am, hopefully this is all mined up, or at least more of it on the bottom side. And so that's kind of what I do with the infrastructures. It doesn't all get... Some people will do a separate bus, kind of a sub-bus, just for all their infrastructure, miners, assemblers, inserters, loaders, stuff like that, but I kind of just put it where there's space. Alright, so now that we have green science, we can actually expand kind of what we're doing. So the next thing I think we should look at doing is normally getting steel furnaces would be pretty important. I mean, we are going to need them for metallurgy too, but for now, we don't really need to worry about it. So it's kind of funny is, so we are playing with the space mod, which is going to effectively expand the end game quite a little bit. So we are going to have this stuff that we're going to have to deal with, but for now, this is fine. Because, like, as you can see, there's quite a few, like, end game thingies that we get to play with, but for now, we're just going to stick in the current present, if you will. So in order... So now kind of our, I guess, our next goal is going to be, where is it? Transistors, right? So our next goal at this point is, okay, how can we get to green science, or not green science, to blue science, right? As we can see, there's quite a bit of things, but I think first and foremost, we should look at getting trains. So engines. And then it's like, okay, what else do we need to research? Okay, logistics 2. Then the railway. Automated, because that's going to be needed, and signals is also going to be needed. With that, let's go ahead and get fast inserters, as we're going to need them, and then from that we will go ahead and get stack inserters. Because trains are going to be a big component in this base. Because obviously a lot of the base is going to be on belt, but a lot of the ore is going to come into the base from a train. We still have to figure out where we're going to put trains. For now, the kind of running idea is somewhere over here. We have to kind of figure out where the leftmost side of power is going to be. What I might do is put the power pumps for all the water here on this lake, and then put the trains here, because then I can route power more so over here into the desert, into the right side, and then put trains more here in the middle, right? So it just depends. Because we also have to decide how much, or rather how many trains we want in service at any one time, right? Because I do want to build a buffer with the warehouses, which I've done before. Some people might say, oh, well, that, it's a little useless. You don't need that. You don't need to stockpile millions of ore. But I just like to do it because, as you can see, I'm of the mindset that, yes, although it is an infinite world, infinite resources, so I can build over ore patches, I'm of the mindset of convenience. If it's there, I'm going to mine it up. And because of that, I want somewhere for that ore to go, even if I'm not necessarily using it right now. And so that's why I usually will build a massive buffer of warehouses for all the ore to sit in. Not quite like this. I usually don't mix it like this unless, of course, I have this weird patch, which I do. Usually it will sit into a warehouse where just that single ore lives. And then once it's needed, mainly through signals, it will be allowed to flow down and into this warehouse where it will then be further processed. Basically, raw ore comes in, processed material comes out, and goes which way it needs to go in the factory. For instance, all of the processed things are going to go right, all the ore is going to go left, and this will look much nicer once more. A, we get more ore to go in, and just B, just generalized other things. I like to see that the copper backs up, but eventually the copper will be coming in demand, just like in vanilla, where you kind of see the shift, or rather feel the shift in vanilla, where more circuits are getting used, so thus a lot more copper is getting used. And in our scenario, because normally circuits use iron and copper, or at least this tier of circuit, right? This is normally your green circuits, but our green circuits are actually the tier 2, which don't require this particular setup. They'll be a little bit more advanced. So copper is going to be used in a much higher volume than our iron will, at least for this product. Nice. Let's go ahead and... What's the next thing we should start outlining? Because we do want to get trains going. But I think... What's kind of holding us back from expanding, right? I know it's a little bit of a silly thing to kind of think about, right? What's the thing holding us back from expanding? Well, we don't really have a lot of infrastructure being made. So I guess we could work on an infrastructure section. Kind of right here. It's pretty tall, lots of open space. But we do want to consider a few things. Mainly, how are we going... See, the other ore smelting is definitely going to be down here. And again, we'll get there and I'll show you kind of what that's going to look like. But do we do infrastructure right now? Or do we focus on getting... I say getting to blue science, but getting to blue science is going to be quite a ways off. It just is. It's not going to be something we're going to get right now, right? It's not going to be something we get now. See, because in order to get it, really the big one is transistors. I think honestly, I think the big proponent we need to get to is automating BEBs, or basic electronic components, and automating the green circuits that come with that. But in order to do that, we need lead and we need tin. So I think what we're going to want to go ahead and go do is just go ahead and set up just like it sounds. Go set up the other smelting area. But I do want to fix the steel, or at least the steel blueprints that we have down, just because I want to make sure that we're using the correct ones and not these outdated ones, which I have. So let's go ahead to make sure that, well, at least most of them are in our line of sight, like so. Alright. So with that, let's go ahead and grab, let's see, where's the correct one? I believe it's, yep, this one. Looks really cool from the map, quite honestly, at least in my opinion. So let's go ahead and line this up. So something like that. Again, we want to leave just one space. That's 2, 3, and 4. All right, looks pretty cool. You can kind of see the helmet design here, or if you really want to look at it, it almost looks like it's like a spaceship, right? Looks really cool. I'd actually be interested in building something like that in Space Engineers. That would be an interesting build, that's for sure. Have 4 sets of engines, kind of almost 2 like almost like 2 littler ships, or almost 3 ships that you could undock from each other. That would almost be cool, and then have like a center frame. Ooh, that's actually giving me some cool inspiration for a Space Engineers build, but we're not doing Space Engineers today, we're doing Factorio. So let's go ahead. So in order to get tin and lead, we're actually going to need to go ahead and build out the other ore areas. So, see, so many things in this mod pack is like, okay, well, in order to do this thing, you have to do like these other things. Well, in order to do that thing, we have to do 4 other things first, right? Because all we want to do is make green circuits, but to do that, we need to have our other ore smelting area set up, because that area is not blueprinted, and that's kind of our problem, right? Is we haven't set this area or our other ore smelting area up yet. So we can't just plop down tin, plop down lead, plug it all in, get it all set up, and run and go. Nothing is outlined, nothing is set up for that area. So we have to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're going to have a little bit of an issue. And although I am, again, the firm believer of get something going rather than nothing, just that way, even if one piece is being made every, however often, is better than nothing being made, well, sometimes doing it the proper way, at least outlining it, is going to help us in the long run. So we are going to go ahead and need to get some warehouses. So let's go ahead. We don't have a lot of steel, so luckily nothing here eats steel. The only thing that's going to eat our steel are the warehouses, unfortunately. So I need 50 steel per warehouse. Now, I only need 1 warehouse to actually get this to work, because I can use ghost blueprints for a bunch of the other things, and that will be fine. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to need 2, at least 2, because I just remembered the blueprint I'm doing. And I'll show you the crazy blueprint here in a minute, and you guys will probably think I'm crazy, but it's what I do. Well, being crazy is not what I do. Doing that is what I do, is I've planned it out. So let's go ahead and, let's find the blueprint. I know, more blueprint time. A lot of blueprint hunting time. It should, I say pretty obvious, but it's basically, ooh, actually, you know what, is it this one? Ooh, that's part of it. That is definitely part of it. So basically this blueprint, what it does is it inputs mixed ore and sorts it into the 12 different possible ores we could have. So it's actually extremely useful. I might actually have a different version of it. So that's in the wall book. Yeah, see, that's actually one of the inputs I've had before with trains. Yeah, so here it looks like it's a not necessarily a different version, still quite compact. I wish I had dates on these, quite honestly. Yeah, so it doesn't look like I have that particular one. Oh, well, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and use this one. So let's go ahead and make a copy. So obviously, see, it's a pretty big blueprint. Now, we'd figure out, okay, where are we going to put this? Now, this line that my mouse is on is the mixed ore section. Now, if we look, it's going to interfere with some of that stuff, so we have to adjust it. Probably like this, quite honestly. So we'll have it turned somewhere down here. Probably probably here. We'll have it turn underneath that saphirite. So yeah. Now we could expand, again, this is another scenario where it's like, okay, we'll do how much storage should we have? Well, each warehouse is going to hold about 1 million of an ore, which I think is plenty to have stored on hand. I don't see much reason to have a deep storage for this right now. Although we are going to be, eventually, like I said in a previous episode, we will be able to sort for a specific ore. So for instance, if we wanted to sort just iron, which I actually don't see any iron ore, but if we want to sort for just iron ore, one way to do it is to combine saphirite and javolite through, you crush it and then you sort it together, I believe, with a catalyst, and that gives you just iron ore. You don't get copper. I'm pretty sure you don't get slag either, and so you just get pure iron ore. And so it's something we'll eventually do. This setup will actually still work. We'll just pull it down, and then more iron, or the specific ore sorting will happen here, and then that will get carried over this way. Or rather, what will happen is you'll see it, we'll invert the lines, they'll flow this way, and it's a process. Just bear with me while the factory is kind of still being outlined, if you will. The big picture will come together more so once areas are properly built and outlined and things. Okay, so now for the spacing of this. I'm pretty sure. Okay, here we go, actually. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure we have it. Obviously the outputs are going to be a little wonky. See, I was going to say, we got to make sure that we don't accidentally do that, the thing I just did. Because, copper ore. Because I forgot, when you blueprint over a thing like that, what it does is not fun. It overrides the filter. Luckily the iron filter stayed, but it's only because there wasn't something there. That doesn't really matter super prominently. This is definitely a scenario where making sure that your filters on these warehouses over here are set to just output the ore. And so in the event that something like this were to happen, it wouldn't screw your other machines. It would be a lot less you'd have to clean up, right? You'd only have to clean up from this warehouse to this warehouse on the belt instead of having to clean up just a bunch more stuff. So let's go ahead and just make sure that that's in there, that's in there, that's in there, and we'll save 1 stack of the crushed on us. This underground thing is just a template for myself for that. So the most right one's going to be saphirite, the next one's going to be stereotype. These two don't really matter which one's bobmonium, which one's rubyite. We can go ahead and look. I believe it's... flotation. Look at the hydrorefining, see which ones produce what. So sulfuric wastewater, and then the bobmonium produces sulfuric wastewater. So the sulfuric wastewater we will do in this one, just so that they can all be right next to each other. Again, it's not a super big thing. We are gonna need a bunch of loaders, but that's should be fine. We'll go ahead and just get rid of a bunch of trees. We do have a little bit of landfill, so let's go ahead and just straighten this out. We're not going to fully build this out because otherwise that's going to require a lot more land, or rather not more landfill, but just a lot more loaders than we currently have made. Right now we have none made. And then there'll still be 2 more of these column setups for chromtinium and javolite. So let's go ahead and grab really the stuff we need to make loaders. I don't know how many we can make. Oh, 4. Okay, so that gets us started. I'm gonna need 1, 2. We can actually make a bunch of these. But I don't have all the loaders are the expensive thing holding us back, so I'm not gonna really make a whole bunch right now. And then let's go ahead and make how many? Oh, we have plenty of crushers. So really we just need the materials for the loaders. So in order to get loaders, what am I missing? plenty of copper. I'm guessing, yeah, basic electronic components. Let's go over here and see what we can do to get more of those. So let's go ahead and go like so. Just throw a stack of copper in there. Then we'll go ahead and... Yep, so it's just literally the copper wire. I mean, this is an extremely easy thing to make. It's just, it's problematic with how we're going to do it, right? In a sense of... We need tin, which we're kind of working on right now, and then we need carbon, which... Carbon's going to be weird, right? Because we have to make it... We have our bootstrap set up here, which luckily is pretty self-contained. But there's still, you know, just a few nuanced things we need to do. Hey, now we have trains. Look at that. And so we are, of course, researching automated rail. Let's see, what else should we queue? Let's kind of look back at engines. And then I believe it's this one. No? Sulfur 1? I don't know, one of these. Plastic. Really? Plastic doesn't lead to it? Here we go. Alright. So the things we need really next that we want to work on. The things in red are things that have other components we need first before we can research them. For instance, this metallurgy must... Yeah, I was going to say it has advanced metal processing, which we need beforehand in order to get to. So there's definitely a lot of things we need to research before we can even get close to blue science, but look at all the stuff that blue science unlocks. Really, once we get blue science, the world is our oyster. Blue science is honestly, I think, the halfway mark for a lot of people, especially in vanilla. I don't know if I would say it's the halfway mark in this, just because of how deep the mod goes. Well, mods go. And yes, that's what she said joke. Let's go ahead and research that. Into metallurgy 2, I guess. Into ore processing 1, and then into iron smelting 1. The reason we're doing the additional iron smelting, so right now the system we have set up, we can actually just go here. That's copper. The reason we have this system, so it's a 1-to-1, and by that it's 24 iron ore, or yeah, 24 iron ore goes in, 24 iron plate comes out. So it's a 1-to-1. The previous ratio we had when we were just smelting the crushed ore was a 3-to-2. So not quite a 1-to-1, not even close. Well, I don't want to say not even close, but it's not a 1-to-1. Here it's a 1-to-1, which is good, but it could be better because we're not, as you can see, this is not a full belt of iron, right? We want to try to make our iron and really all our resources go as far as we can with as little as we have, if that makes sense. So one way we can do that is, so you can think of it like a magical divider between the left side of this setup and the right side. So the left side, we can get additional iron bars essentially from just the ore by adding some stuff in coal and, you know, doing a few things here. And then as for this right side, we can get more liquid by kind of watering down our iron ore, or rather the molten iron, with things such as silicon and magnesium and some other ores. And so that way we can actually double or even triple the amount of ore to output ratio. So, you know, we can put in 24 iron still, but we might be able to get out 48 or 72 iron plate. So that's something we want to look at. And that's why we saved this much space between the machines and the belt, is so that way we have plenty of room to work with when it comes to upgrading and things, just so that we have plenty of room to do crazy big builds like this. This is actually what it's going to get upgraded to. I actually have to change it because this isn't quite ratioed out, but it helps get more ore. But yeah, so it looks like our crafting queue actually finished. Ooh, hey, it looks like we're actually out of a few things. So let's go ahead and grab... Let's see, what's preventing us from having more tin? Is it just the ore that we don't have? Or is it something else? No, we have plenty of ore. It looks like primarily all of the crushed is heading here, and none of the crushed is heading to the right. Okay. So then what I want to do is, how can we have it? I can get 3 furnaces on one chest, but I can't quite get... Let's see, if I were to make a few inserters, did something like so. Alright, so the reason I'm doing this is so that way, because look at the output. It's 3 items being outputted. So this would effectively grab all of the output. And then we'll just go like that. So this way, all the inserters are grabbing the output all at once, or they should if they were all done correctly. And so this way, again, in theory, all the furnaces should be able to get more, because it's backing up, as you can see now. So 4 furnaces is plenty. So let's go ahead and make 4 more. I can't remember how many we need. It looks like we need 4, 8, 12. Really, it looks like we need about 16 and 16 loaders or so for this setup to work with two machines on each side, which is fine. It'll just take us a little bit more. So it looks like we have enough components, or at least enough tin. Jeez, we have 700 tin. Yeah, it's the basic electronic components that we were actually running low on, and now it looks like we're running low on. What are we actually running low on? Solder. Oh, our favorite little thing. I say that in the most sarcastic manner possible. I am not a fan of having to make this. Eventually, we will, of course, be able to, through metallurgy, mix lead and tin to get a much better ratio of this. So, there is that. Oh, let's go something like that, I guess. It is in the back of the queue, but that's fine. Yeah, research is going fine. We could, I mean, I say we could get cars, but not really. I guess we could get pump jack after that. Ooh, that was a good wrist pop. I don't like that like some of the research, like things you need to research don't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And by that, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense with how you look at, for instance, pump jacks. Pump jacks, you would think, oh, well, that's going to lead into oil. It does not. You are not required to research this to get researching in oil. But if you look at, where is it? Somewhere in here. Here. To get oil, it's not a prerequisite. Except you do get pump jacks in this. So it's like, why do you have to research pump jacks as a separate thing? It's because not all the mods remove, or rather, not all the mods do a good enough job of checking for any like duplicate things or research in the trees. It's unfortunate. I get, obviously they can't do a checksum every time. It's just annoying on the end user's end because it's like, oh shit, I don't want to waste packs on that science if I don't need it, right? So I'll probably eventually still research it, either by mistake or just because it's like, you know, I just want to research it and get it off my like research tab. We do have all this water stuff, it looks like. Most of this is actually what you'd use in C blocks, by the way, or a lot of this to get landfill and things. Speaking of C blocks, I tried it over on Twitch. And also, speaking of Twitch, if you guys haven't checked out our Twitch channel, make sure you guys check that out. We stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Our Twitch is twitch.com/ravagedplays.tv. Make sure you guys head over there and go do all the fun things over there, such as following. Make sure you turn on notifications so you guys don't miss out on any of the streams, because sometimes we do go live on the non-streaming days. But other than that, let's get kind of back into Factorio. But C Block is, I tried it, I don't like it. I think it's because I've only played it one time. It's basically this mod pack, but on an island, and as much waiting around as there is in this, there's way too much waiting around. Like, more than I can like. Or more than I can, not stomach, but more than I can manage. Not that I get annoyed with having to wait around, but it's not enjoyable when I have to literally go AFK and, not AFK farm, but not play the game, and it's not fun when I have to wait around for something to happen in a game. I don't like it. Let's see, we don't have... The bot should be fine, right? Yeah. As long as most of the trees get done. So let's go ahead and change these over to Bobmonium. We're going to need both Bob and Rubyite, so it doesn't really matter which one goes first. The only reason we're doing Bob is because of... Sorry, I'm just making sure that those inputs and stuff are correct. The only reason we're doing Bobmonium first is because the second tier of refining has a byproduct called sulfuric wastewater, and that also happens to be the byproduct of sapphirite and stereotype at that stage, and so it's easier for us to tie those together. Well, not necessarily tie them together, but just run them in parallel. It makes it easier for another step of refining slash production loop that we will be doing at some point. Notice how all these trees are slowly dying and the water is turning green. It's actually a nice gradient of blue and green. It's like, you do not want to go swimming in that water. That power's still fine. Again, we just need... Really, we just need that. Which means, yep, we're just waiting on solder. Which, hey, we're making. Look at that. Lots of solder. Yeah. Right now we're just kind of waiting for our solder. And Factorio music oddly stops. That's always eerie as shit. This is one game that I will say is weird in that it doesn't like sit and keep playing like one song after another. There's points where like I feel like the music is either way too quiet that you can't hear it if your volume's not all the way up on it, or up there it is, or it has a really long intro or something that you just don't hear. It's the eeriest thing in Factorio. Let's go and get some more loaders going. And we do have a shit ton of the solder to keep throwing in. That's fine. We are going to need it and use it, so it's all good in the neighborhood. Right now we're just manually crafting so much, but we just got to do it. I could not imagine, though, trying to play this specific set of mods that we're doing and trying to complete the game in 8 hours, like trying to get any of the achievements. Because although these aren't counted for your Steam profile, like obviously, yeah, we've already failed on 3 of them. Well, technically, we already failed this one because the Ruins mod automatically will build solar on some of the ruins. That's why that one failed. But it ain't easy. Or as Kermit would say, it ain't easy being green. It ain't easy. Ironically, it ain't easy being not green for the solar, but you can get these in modded. They just don't count for Steam. So yeah, as it says, they're separate from the vanilla version of the game. So it is interesting, though, to try to get the achievements, but obviously the game is not balanced for getting achievements in modded. Some modders do keep in mind the achievements and do have achievement-friendly mods, and by that, it's just you can technically get the achievements with those mods installed. I don't even know if it's possible with the mods we have installed. I would say, honestly, I would say it is not. There's way too much to research and do. I would be shocked if you definitely, I don't think you could complete it in 80 or 8 hours. I definitely don't think 8 hours. It might be possible in 15, but even then I still don't think so. The first 90 minutes one, no. Again, I don't think it's possible. It might be, but I don't think it is. At least with the current mods we have installed. Right. So at least some of the crafting is finished. Ooh, Farl. I always forget some of the mods I install. Farl, your fully automatic rail laying machine. Or if you have a friend you're playing with, then they're your automatic rail laying machine. We do got to make sure that these filters change, because we do have this set up for if we were using, or rather, this is a blueprint that already has recipes, so we just need to make sure that the filters are set correctly. We do need to go ahead and grab a few things, but other than that, okay, looks like we should be good. We just need to get some splitters. So let's go ahead and grab, I don't know, about 15 splitters. So now, this thing doesn't have iron or copper. So that's what would go here, is iron or copper if it had that output. So we need this output, which is, ironically, this is set up for a different version that I've played on. But for us and today's purposes, it's going to be tin and silicon. And I have no belt, so let's go grab some belt. Iron's happening. Once we get some more of the research. Oh, see, there's the disco science. See how it looks like Christmas? It looks nice. It looks really good once we get all the science packs going. It is a little bit annoying with the size of the base. I will say from experience, having played a, not speed run, but an achievement hunting run, one of the things that you spend a lot of time doing is just this, running between a factory. So making things as close together as possible is key in that. That's why a lot of speedrunners kind of throw this convention of building out the window and do very close together building where it's as efficient as possible, right? I'm spacing things out because although I have played this before and I do kind of know how much room things are going to take, there's always something new or a different way of doing something that I might try out that might need me to have a slightly different layout or just a little bit extra space depending on where I'm at. And so that's just what we deal with. Anyway, so we do have the belt. Oh, I gotta be careful. I forgot when you hold over ghost images like that. But one thing I will say I hate about ghost images is although I want to drag it, you cannot drag it if it is a different tier. So that should function. Obviously, throughput will suffer. Again, I wish I could drag, but I can't. Same thing there. And I need one loader, which is missing. I always click this intermediate products because there's the green circuit there. But the green circuit are under here, under Bob's intermediate products. So although they're still intermediate products, the fucking green circuits are here. And it's like, bruh. Womp womp womp. So to get those, we need more solder. Damn solder. Always the solder. It's a fun word to say. It's a fun word to say because so many people mispronounce it. Because technically there's an L. It's solder, not solder. Much as I want to say solder, it's solder. There is an L. It's like basic letter arithmetic. So let's go ahead, and again, let's go ahead and get some of these loaders going. Right now, I'm just waiting for things to craft, but we can run power, though, while we're waiting, I guess. Let's go ahead and get that. Yeah, so that should be fun. So Saphirite's gonna be on that junction. Steertite here, Bottleneck here, okay. I'll just delete all those. Great part though is you can paint two belts wide. You can actually go further than that if you need. And that actually this blueprint actually does not need to be here. It was purely just here so that I could see the layout that I needed. Like that. We're almost done. Crafting all the loaders we should need. Actually, I lied. I need 1, 2, 3, which we are crafting 3, so that fits that. And then I'll need 1, 2 more. Crap. Oh well. What do I need? We have plenty of 10. We need something. We need basic electronic components. No way. Say it's not so. Unfortunately, I believe it is. Well, the Bottleneck is going to at least be flowing in that direction, but we don't have a loader hooked up just yet, so it's not going to quite work. That's not what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. But that didn't quite fit what we needed. Oh, I need basically... I'm dumb. I was like, oh, we need more solder, but then I was like, no. My brain just said we needed more solder. In reality, we needed more of this. That's what happens. Alright, so there's 1 loader. I need 1 more. We have half the ones we need, which means I need 50 more. More or less. Alright, so let's go like that. 1 more. Well, actually 2 more technically. And I don't know, for about 100 in there. And did I ever build the other warehouse? I don't know. I don't believe so. So let's build 1 warehouse. We gotta be careful because although we do have iron production, it takes so fucking long to make steel right now with the current things we have available to us. But it's just honestly is not worth it to do a lot of the things. Well, out of pure laziness here. The question now becomes which one? I think this one. I'll say pure laziness, but it's just... I'm just so that way we can kind of get a proof of concept working for us. Alright. And then the crushed stone will go, well, the crushed stone and slag will go on the other two. And then eventually there's one more product rather we'll be getting, and that's gems. Alright, well, with that one, I'm gonna just finish this off. Well, with that one, let's go ahead and put in a cut here. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys all for watching. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Really helps out the channel a lot. And if you leave a like on the video, that also helps out considerably with the whole YouTube of things. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about what I'm doing or at any point of any of the processes, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you guys just want to say hi, that always helps out too. Any suggestions as well can go there. Other than that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.